Started. Can you hear me, Derek? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, folks, welcome to our May webinar. Search Wizards is very pleased and proud to have Derek Zeller with us today. Hopefully most of you know Derek already, or you read the written material that we sent out. He's a veteran recruiter and sourcer with about 2 decades worth of industry experience. Derek was named ClearJobs.net Recruiter of the Year in both 2008 and 2009, which I'm sure he won't sing his own praises, so it's up to me to do so. He's a resident of Arlington, Virginia, in the Washington, D.C. area. And besides being a veteran, dedicated recruiter who's worked in the industry, Derek has also been a participant, a blogger, a speaker at numerous industry recruiting and networking events. Among the places that he's spoken with in the recent past includes SourceCom and Recruit DC. He's spoken in Atlanta, Chicago, in and around Sydney, Australia, including other cities there, Nashville, Tennessee, and Seattle. And then I believe, Derek, coming up in Dallas this year, correct?
Yes, the social recruiting conference in Dallas on the 20th.
So rather than take too much time summarizing Derek's many achievements and industry jobs that he's held, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Derek. Derek, thanks for being with us today, and you've got a pretty full group of people here waiting to hear what you have to say.
Great. Well, thanks for that introduction, David. It's nice meeting you again. Let's get right on it. Since we're running a little bit late, so let me go what's on tap for today. We'll be talking about social media, social media facts, the big 3, the numbers, and other social media platforms that you might not be using and should be. Social media recruiting. I mean, what is it? It's very competitive. How to recruit for your team through what we call #SoMe or social media. And we're also going to talk about being about the candidate and how to engage with it. Your personal brand is important. What we look for is in social media profiles. You want to engage the candidate. That's a huge piece that a lot of people aren't doing, especially because in social media you want to be social. So you want to get out there and meet people. Then we'll do a quick Q&A session. Hold on for just a second, everybody. I'm going to make sure everybody's muted. There we go. Get this off. So, what are the big 3? You probably already know this, but Facebook is probably the largest. Right now, there's over 1 billion users with 190 million users in North America and 604 million mobile users worldwide. Mobile users, by the way, is pretty massive when it gets to certain continents. Australia, Africa, for example, and even Europe is really starting to catch on with it. Then you have the next big one, LinkedIn. Everybody knows LinkedIn. We're all recruiters. I'm sure everybody has a LinkedIn recruiter account. Over 200 million members worldwide. Now, that is give or take maybe 20, 30 million that are actually probably fake profiles. I don't really get into that much because it's conversation for a different day, but it's definitely a massive social networking group, especially from a business standpoint. 4 million are IT and service related members. So, I mean, a lot of people I see on the call, I think are at Microsoft. I see all the little D dashes. So more than likely you're looking for IT folks on Indeed. And last but not least, and probably the most overlooked, is Twitter. There's over 500 million accounts worldwide with 141 million accounts in the US alone. There's over 200 million tweets a day. Now these numbers, I have tried to update them a little bit, and these probably even more. It's probably about 600 million accounts worldwide now, and probably about 200 or 210 million accounts in the US. If you don't have a Twitter account, I would highly recommend it. Facebook is predominantly used as a social tool. It's a social tool to hang out with your friends and get to know people. But there are groups inside Facebook that you can actually join, ask questions, and it's a place to go and hunt, believe it or not. And you can use a straight-on Boolean search string in Facebook inside the group itself. But these are some other social media platforms that are out there. Pinterest, Instagram, Tumblr's a great site for checking out blogs. You can X-ray like a Tumblr site, see if there's developers out there or admins or something. UI people, UX people, they're talking about what they're doing. Or a great thing for Instagram is start following people that their accounts there. A lot of people that do UI, UX work are on Instagram taking pictures and showing things. I didn't put it up here. Stack Overflow and GitHub Social Coding. Those are both website development sites where web developers can both gauge each other, rate each other, and ask questions. And so, like say I'm having a problem with JavaScript, downloading into the back end of a SQL program or something like that. So they're asking for help. So you can find out, who's good, who's not, and you can contact them. They are paid sites, but they can be X-rayed as well. Let's go to the next slide. So in a nutshell, I like to say this is this is social media explained. It's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. This is by Mike Chuidian got me this, by the way. It's a big shout out to him. So Twitter, I'm eating a donut. Facebook, I like donuts. Foursquare, this is where I eat donuts. By the way, Foursquare has kind of gone away now. It's now called Swarm. They still have Foursquare, but it's more to like do a Yelp review or to find the actual restaurants or locations that you want to go to. Just want to make that kind of clear. Instagram, here's a vintage photo of my donut because you can play with it. YouTube, here I am eating a donut on a video. LinkedIn, my skills include donut eating. Obviously, LinkedIn's more of a resume. Pinterest is an interesting site. There's a lot of, I've never personally recruited people off Pinterest, but I know some people that have. So Last.fm, and then obviously G+. I'm a Google employee who eats donuts because pretty much the only people that are on Google Plus are Google employees. So if you're looking to recruit out of Google, that's a great place to go. So I kind of put this screen up. What is social recruiting? Social recruiting is making new connections. You should be engaging people, especially on sites like Twitter. LinkedIn for sure, but LinkedIn's making some changes now where they're monitoring how many people turn you down, and if you get turned down enough, they'll put you in jail basically, which means they lock you out of the account, which is not a great feeling. So I recommend when you're making those, if you're in recruiter profiles and you're recruiting from LinkedIn Recruiter, you get a little bit more leeway, obviously. But if you're X-raying the site and going into it from the outside, like through Google or through Bing or something like that, I really highly recommend making sure that you, if you're going to send them an email, make sure it's a personalized email. Don't send something kind of just kind of like, hey, thought I'd see this, or really interested in you and for my job. You want to set that email so it engages the target or that candidate with the, hey, I see that you like scuba diving or something like under your interest. Me too. It's really fun. The last time I got to dive was like a year ago, and it was in the Maldives. Always make it interesting for them to want to respond to you. Proactive searching is another piece. Networking, referencing. I don't think we do enough networking online, especially in the groups that you have access to. They're all free. LinkedIn has them. Facebook has them. I'm in a number of different groups, and it's interesting because it varies. Some that they will let you in and they're just open, and others they have to let you in. So once again, you want to send like an email if you can to the person who runs the group and ask them in a polite way, I'd really like to join your group, and this is what I bring to the table. Be patient. Continuous efforts in building approach. Patience is key. Sometimes people are not going to get back to you right away. They're just busy in their life, especially if they're on social media. They're probably running around. One of the things I do with Twitter is start following people that look interesting. Twitter will even tell you might be interested in these people or your friends, or when you do a search in Twitter, search for things that you're possibly looking for: Java development, Unix system administration, things like that. So that way it's like, oh, this is a Unix systems admin. I'm going to follow them, and then you can, if they follow you back, then you can send them a direct message. If not, retweet some of the tweets that you think are interesting or that would be interesting to your audience, and eventually they'll actually see that you've retweeted them, and more than likely will go in and start following you back. It's really kind of interesting how it works, but it's a long-term engagement, especially with Twitter. Listening. That is massive. Listen to what people have to say, and read their email, read their tweets, find out what kind of makes them tick. This is all targeted recruiting. I mean, we're not talking about help desk people, but if you're looking for, like I look for business intelligence right now, data analysts, And I want to hear what they're doing, what they're saying means a lot. And I can respond back to that. And now I'm being social. I'm not just being a recruiter. And that's the difference between social recruiting is and what's not. Because social recruiting is definitely not guerrilla marketing with no objective and target audience. Spamming, stop the spam. There's actually a Facebook page, hashtag fight spam, that I'm part of. We can't do enough to try to stop people from just sending these massive emails. I know you get them because I'm getting them for sure. I get them all the time for jobs that are completely unrelated from what I do, but because it happens to be somewhere on the internet that I at one time was looking for a Visual Basic developer or something like that, or C# or .NET. They're sending me C# .NET jobs. It's an Autobot, and it's really kind of strangling our industry right now. It's not social recruiting. Communicating in a job portal language, which basically means is you're just sending them a job. Hey, I need to fill this job. Would you be interested? That's just not the way this works. That's not how any of this works. You're going to either get caught up in what's called a spam folder. I know a lot of my people in the past have actually built spam folders. I've had one built for me. So if I don't actually know you, they're never even going to see your emails. So you're basically just wasting time sending out emails to people who are never going to see them. Job posting, the post and pray kind of method, it can be effectual to a certain point. Yes, you're going to get resumes, but don't consider that social recruiting. That's just things that you have to do because of that's what the company does. I mean, interestingly enough, a company that you may have heard of, Zappos, actually got rid of using job postings as an experiment. Now, they kept the general postings up for specific IT roles that they had or higher management roles. But for generally just working in the center, they decided to make it more social and said they would go to Twitter, they would go to Facebook, and they would say, hey, if you were interested, contact me as a recruiter. And their recruiting team had their own targeted systems where people could literally just send them an IM, or they could send them an email and say, I'd like to learn more about working at Zappos. And it actually worked pretty well. I believe they're still doing it, but I haven't had a chance to talk with the team over there in a long time. But last time I saw, they were doing it. Once again, it's mass mailing, that's spam. Quick fix, policing, deleting, short-sighted, just another channel to find candidates. The speak-only mode, that's one thing I really want to get at, the speak-only mode. Once again, when you're making these calls, when you're making these emails, when you're sending these tweets, make it about the candidate and the candidate experience. And a lot of times, don't just, like, for example, on Twitter, don't just tweet out your job. That's ridiculous because it's only going to go to whatever handful of followers you have, and nobody's going to retweet it because your audience to start out with is more than likely your friends and other possible recruiters. So it's not going anywhere. It just sits in like a little bucket. No one else is going to see it other than the people that are actually following you. I'm going to show you a couple of tricks though on your LinkedIn account that you can do, which can drive what's called inbound marketing and have candidates reach out to you, which is pretty cool. We're going to get to that in a little bit. So one is not simply source from CareerBuilder. You should be using other sites. Personally, I have always said if I don't always recruit from Monster, but when I do, I always revert back to LinkedIn. It's just kind of amusing to me that people they get into the job boards that are necessary. I'm not going to knock job boards. I've used them my entire career. But the cool thing about LinkedIn is that now I've got this individual's resume sitting on CareerBuilder or Monster or Dice, and they're just a resume. I don't know anything about them. So if I really like this candidate, I revert to going over to LinkedIn and Facebook, and I want to check out their social media accounts, their social media profiles, what makes them tick sometimes. Now, some people do, other than LinkedIn on Facebook, do have locked accounts, which means you can't really see that much. But you can go in sometimes and see what they've actually posted, if they posted stuff in public. It kind of gives you an idea of who this person is instead of just another resume. I love this. I have used this for the last couple of years now, going through and personalizing my emails. Now, I do have a static email that I personalize. So it's something that I would send to somebody, but then I add in 3 or 4 lines that makes it personal to the individual themselves. And say, hey, and I try to never use the word I in my first email. A lot of times I don't even put it in a job description. I'll just put in, saw your resume, wanted to chat with you. By the way, saw that you like cycling. You know, it's been a gorgeous couple of days after that 17 days of rain we've had in Reston. So I know I'm going to get on my bike soon and go for a ride as well. This is my email. This is my phone. Obviously, this is my phone number. Feel free to give me a call. And let's chat about some positions here at ComScore that I think possibly we would think you would be good for. Okay, it's going mobile, folks. We're having actually an interesting conversation in a recruiters group last week about texting. We did some research, and most people don't know this, but right now, it's less than 60% of voicemails are even listened to, let alone responded to. But guess what? What the percentage for texting is. Ready? 99% of texts are responded to. So we did a little poll out there in the LinkedIn universe and started asking all of our connections, if you were a candidate, how would you, A, want to be reached out to via text on the first point of contact, or during the process, would you be okay with getting text? Would you like to be text as opposed to having the recruiter giving you a phone call? We had an interesting response. It was about a 50-50 on the first. A lot of people thought it was a little creepy because they don't know your number, obviously, because it's not in their cell phone. So if you don't tell them, my name is Derek Zeller from ComScore, just texting you to let you know I would like to chat with you a little bit about what you're looking for and see if there might be a good fit here at ComScore. Keep it short, very simple, very, very short. It's the same thing with Twitter, 240 characters. I really recommend just doing a quick blast if you want to go that way. If they're under 30, texting is just the way that everybody uses their phones now. I've gotten a very good response from the younger generations. Not so much from people in my age group, but definitely from people under 30. They love to text. Then the other question was from a secondary standpoint, and what we've seen is that people are very open to receiving text messages, especially in the DC area, in the cleared world. Sometimes it's they can't talk, or you have people in a cube farm that like they have to get up and grab their phone and then walk out. This way they can just respond to you right away like they're just talking to Susan or Dave. It's pretty interesting stuff, and it's a nice little tool in a tool belt that you might not be using. So, but no matter what, it's uber competitive out there. So anything that you can do is to stand out is that's what we're talking about here. The texting, setting up personalized emails, setting it up so it's easy for them to get to you. There's actually some pretty cool tools out there. There's like Appointment Quest, for example, that when they email, you can actually put in an appointment and they can go onto your calendar and actually choose some time. You can also put the job that you want to talk to them about inside of that. So when they open it up, they can actually see the job. It's pretty cool. Then they get a half an hour with you and they know they're talking to a real recruiter who actually cares and is willing to set up that time. I've used this in the past. I'm using it now. And like basically my week is already kind of full with phone calls. It's going to be pretty exciting. I've been here 2 weeks and I've already gotten 2 hires. So whatever I can do to keep it simple, stupid, make it fast, make it easy for the candidate, and make it easy for myself to get more phone calls in, get more submits in, and get more interviews going, the faster we're going to be able to fill jobs. Social media can help you also weed out the people that are pretending to be what they say they are. And once again, like I said, you can go to you get a resume, even from a resume that comes in. Let's go to an intake situation. So you're in your database, you got a really cool resume. They look like, wow, this person's almost too good to be true, right? So what do you want to do is, once again, like I said, go to LinkedIn, go to Facebook, go to Twitter, see if they're in Twitter, see what kind of tweets they've sent, because tweets follow you to the grave, by the way, folks. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But a lot of the things you say online, are going to be easily found, and there's tools that you can use to even find them if you want. So you want to go see, hey, is this person actually, using HTML? Or are they actually using the products that I'm looking to fill? And sometimes when you get out there, it's like, wow, their LinkedIn profile is totally different than their resume. So you want to make sure you want to deal with that. What happened here? Sorry, folks, don't know what's happened. That was an interesting pop-up. Now, I'm kind of on the fence with this as well. But I've been using Skype the better part of my career, especially when you're doing international recruiting. It's easier. You're dealing with time zones, plus you to actually see the candidate and to actually chat with them. Now, this is becoming new. There's video conferencing software out there. There's all kinds of companies that are probably calling you or talking to you. I know I've got plenty that call me. But I personally like Skype. Google Plus is great. It's good for Hangouts. But Skype just seems to be a little bit better sound quality, video quality. That's just what I personally like to use. It also helps you to kind of get the feel from the candidate, and they get a feel for you. And like I said, the younger generations are always looking at the new, cool next stuff. In fact, I have a Skype interview going on today at 4 o'clock in Chicago because the candidate is on vacation overseas, but didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk to the manager. And to make a phone call is $3 a minute. So if you take that times 30 minutes, that's, a very expensive phone call. So that guy either really wants the job, or we can just do Skype. This is my little plug for Skype out there. So we want to let LinkedIn be your friend. Simple searches right here. So this is just basically an advanced people search. You can put in keywords, first name, last name. You can put in title. You can put in company if you're targeting a specific company. You can even put in schools if you want to target specific candidates that have graduated from specific schools. This is a very simple search. It's very simple to do. You can do you can do natural language, like just put in HTML and CSS3, or you can put in Boolean strings, the and or nots. That sometimes the and or not sometimes references a little bit better. But on this, when you're actually inside LinkedIn, the nots are pretty much not necessary because you're looking for resumes. No LinkedIn account privileges? No problem. So this, I've been saying the word X-ray, and I think probably some of you are like shaking your head going, what does he mean by X-ray? It's like we get an X-ray machine or a gamma ray machine and turn it into the Hulk? No, what we do is we call a site search. So this is a site search or insight search. So you can put in site, the LinkedIn, notice that there's no space between the colon and www. Then you put in what you're looking for. So like for this particular site, we were looking for UX people in Baltimore, Maryland area. And then in URL, publications, I'm looking for people that have done publications and UX who are in the Baltimore area in LinkedIn. Now, if you look down, boom, I've got LinkedIn people right then and there, and now I can click and go into and see them. I can even see that like this particular person's got 1 year and 9 months. I can go into the account. I can actually look to Joe, or I can look at Emily and get a little bit deeper search than normal. Now, this is interesting. I have Google up here, but so these are our search for. So this is. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to do this first. This is another nice in-title search. So I am, or, about, or, and by the way, the and, ors, and nots you want to definitely have as capital. You can also use pluses as ands and minuses for nots as well. So I put this in as in URL resume or about or portfolio, because a lot of times UX people don't really have resumes per se, they actually have portfolios. So this is just a straight on Google search. It's going out directly to Google. It's not necessarily going to any one particular website. You can, however, do an insight on LinkedIn. You can do it on, you can actually do it on Indeed.com. You can also do it on GitHub, Stack Overflow, any place that has open resume sources. You cannot do this entitled search into things like Monster or Dice or Career Builder or any of those other kind of job boards because they sit behind a firewall and they want you to pay for it. And obviously that's, if you had the ability to do this, then they would never get paid. So this is a pretty cool site. I would also recommend, like here's Erica Weiss's resume or Justin Dickinson, and look at their actual resumes. All resumes. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple other places that you may not have actually looked before. I think I have Bing in my deck. I like Bing a lot. But this is a cool website that most people don't know about called DuckDuckGo.com. This is, once again, I put in my search string, I put in IM, UX, Baltimore, resume. Now, these are the knots, minus jobs, minus directory, minus DIR, right? Now, that gives me the results. Once again, under DuckDuckGo, I'm finding interesting resumes. Let's see who we got here. Whoops. Sorry about that, guys. So DuckDuckGo is going to give you a different algorithm than Google would, and Bing will give you a different algorithm than either one of them as well. So it's better, it's sometimes wise to go out and use different search sites for the same, and put in the same search string, and you will get different results, I guarantee it. So it's not about you, it's about the candidate. And I think one of the things that I like to talk about to recruiters is we have a tendency to, I think, partition ourselves away from the candidates and not do good due diligence and understanding, knowing that that is actually a human being on the other end. I want you to think back to when you were looking for a job, and I know you were looking for a job. Everybody's looked for a job. Remember how you feel. You know, remember how you got treated by recruiters, for example, or how you were treated through the management process. You know, I guarantee you, you had a bad experience sometime in your life, if not more, multiple times. I know I have, and I've always carried that with me. In fact, I've always looked at it, is that a company I actually want to work with? You know, if I get treated this poorly, and that's going to happen to you as well. When it comes down to the decision times, you know, if they've had a bad candidate experience, no bueno. They're gonna let you know, and the way they're gonna let you know is not take your offer. So I always say pick up the phone, no, call me, or call me not. There is no maybe. You need to be making phone calls. I know it sounds archaic. I know people's like, oh, I've done a whole deal via email and they're pretty impressed with themselves. I'm not impressed with that, because that's a bot. That's a machine. They don't even know who you are when they come in the door. They don't know your voice. They don't know anything about you. So be more open. I make a phone call first every time. If I don't get them, I leave my voicemail. I tell them I'm sending them an email. I send them an email, and I send it a nice personal email saying, hey, this is Derek. I just got off this, left you a voicemail. Love to chat with you. This is the position that you submitted yourself to, or if it's a cold, email when I'm reaching out, I'm just like, I know that you're obviously looking because you're on a ABC job board, or on LinkedIn it said that it would be okay for me to reach out to you. I let them know that, because they're like, why are you calling me? I'm like, well, you said, you're on Indeed.com. Your resume's out there. You just posted it 2 days ago. So I'm calling you because I'd like to talk with you about positions here at ComScore. But it's a warm call after that. They're like, oh, okay, very cool. I've always had a great response when I do that. Get away from the scripts, guys. I don't know what level everybody's at in their career. And I know everybody's, working for Search Wizards as a contractor, but a lot of times I think that most people that go through agency training, you're given a script. You're told this is how you do things, okay, so tell me about the reason why this, that's not blah, blah, blah. I hate that. Just get away from it. Be you. You've got a personality. Let your personality fly through. Candidates will freak out about it, by the way. A true story. I actually had a candidate once after about a half-an-hour conversation. We were talking, I caught him about 4:30, and he was a level 3 help desk systems administrator. And I start every call the same way. I always ask my candidates, how's your day today? How are you today? And then they tell me, I'm doing great. I'm like, cool. Is this still a good time to chat? Absolutely, great. Now let's get into it. By doing that guy, after the end of the half an hour, he says, by the way, Derek, he goes, I just realized I've been at my desk for the last 9 hours, and you're the first person to ask me how my day was. He goes, that's pretty cool. I think I'll remember that. And I'm just like, that's my takeaway from that was like, yes, it's being human. It's treating them like that I would want to be treated. It's just the golden rule, right? So let's move on. You're recruiting people, not machines. This is the Borg, Captain Picard. They were half human, half machine. We're not half human, half machine. Everybody come back. Damn, I'm sorry about this, man. Okay. Well, let's keep going. We'll muddle through. Sorry about that, guys. I did not have any idea that that's the way this works. So basically, your personal, we're going to talk about personal branding and what it needs. It basically needs to rock, is what I like to say. I'm going to put everybody on mute, guys. Just, you're getting a lot of feedback. Okay, that's better. Thank you. So your personal brand needs to rock. What I mean by that is you need to be out there in the world being social. Once again, this is a great way to do it is on Twitter and even on LinkedIn. On Twitter, if you're working in the UX space, for example, UX/IX space, or you're working at SQL Server DBA space, start going out and posting on LinkedIn and posting on Twitter, different kinds of articles and things that those individuals would actually add value to their brand. They want to see. They're like, oh wow, I want to. What is going on? Sorry, this is crazy. This is the strangest presentation I've ever done. So they're going to go to you, and you're going to be kind of like that point person. Like if now this is a long-term assessment. So somebody who's out there, let's say, and he has a really bad day, and they're going through their Twitter feed, and they see you posting, not so much a job, but maybe an article on how to tune in SQL in 10 or something like that. They're going to be like, so I wonder who this person is. So on your Twitter account, it should say, you're a recruiter. I recruit for this. You should be putting those things on in order to get the individuals to want to talk to you. A lot of times they'll send you their email. They'll send you a resume, or they'll send you an email on LinkedIn. I get them daily from individuals who say, I see you're the recruiter at ComScore, and I'll show you in a couple of minutes here what it says under my ComScore. And I say, this is what I'm recruiting for. I get stuff daily from these people. It's pretty awesome. So brand environment is congruence and connection. Brand communication is visibility. Brand discovery is differentiation and aspiration, and brand stability is the foundation. So your foundation is the brand stability. You want to be consistent with your voice throughout everything you say on any kind of social media account. So whatever you do, even if you're in Google Plus, for example, you want to always be saying kind of the same thing and going for the same, be that type of person. For example, on LinkedIn, a lot of people have followed. I have a lot of followers that like to read my blogs, but try to daily, I just put up an interesting quote to either make you think or just make you laugh. And I've actually had people come up to me at conferences, and I've had people come up to me or send me, just a quick in-mail just saying, hey, thanks for that joke yesterday. It made my day a lot better. And that's a great thing to know. So that way in my space, I'm getting more and more people now in the data space. They're starting to follow me. And that's what you want too, is you want that visibility. And this is what's going to differentiate you from the rest of the group. What your LinkedIn profile should not look like. This is always fun. This is just what I did from a web developer. I didn't want to call out anybody from the recruiting community. So this is from a deck I did a while back. So this is just a web developer type of role. What does this tell us? It tells us nothing. It just says you're a web developer. Well, what does that mean? It's like saying I'm a software developer. What kind of software? What tools are you using? What are you coding for? What are you coding in? Do you have websites that you can share with me? So recruiters do this as well. Recruiters, your LinkedIn profile looks like your resume. You're doing it wrong. You should be under your experience, you should have it being like this. So like this is if you actually go to my LinkedIn, and you can jump on my LinkedIn page and go down to the senior recruiting lead. I couldn't scrape it off the way it looks on actual LinkedIn. I couldn't get a screenshot to work. They're doing some weird stuff now. So basically this is what I have. I'm currently searching for data analysts and campaign analysts in Western Virginia, New York City, New York. I'm also looking for a campaign analyst in Chicago and a director of custom insight solutions in Menlo Park. Check out our website for more info and to apply. I try to answer all responses as quickly as possible. So do know we try very hard not to be a black hole. See, if you noticed, I tried to keep my I down to one time. I only put an I try, but I was putting in that I do try. So people have a tendency to know that recruiting, especially larger companies, even the smaller ones, which is weird to me, they submit their resume, they never hear anything. It's just crickets. crickets go by, they never get any kind of response, or they get an automated response saying, thanks for the email, we'll be following up if we're interested. Personally, I don't like that. I do that after I've actually seen their resume, so it shows that I've actually took the time to look at them and have decided that this is not a candidate I want to move forward with. That is going to be big for your name in the industry, especially if you're going to stick in that one particular area. So for example, for data analysts, I want to be the go-to guy across the country, if not the globe. If they're looking for a job, I want them to know that I'm looking for them as well. Give me an email, give me a call, and I will get back to you. Twitter rocks for personal branding. This is really, really cool. This is, once again, UX designer. So this is what I did, is I did a UX designer search for Maryland. And look at all the people that came up. These are all graphic designers, writer, author of Mindfire, Big Ideas for Curious Minds. Top one, though, right there, graphic designer, logo designer, web designer, blogger, creative thinker. So I go over here to the follow button. I click follow, and now I'll be able to see the things that Jacob posts. Not everybody uses this religiously. Some people do it more than others. But you can get in there and you can have them start following them. The other thing you can do is actually make a list. And I have a list, for example, back in the day for graphic designers. So anybody who I had in that list were graphic designers that I wanted to read their tweets. A lot of times I would just retweet, or I would retweet with a quote saying, hey, this was a really cool thing that Jacob did. Take a look at it to my followers. They're gonna like that. It's kind of a small ego stroke for that person. So they're going to probably send you an IM, instant message, or a Twitter mail. Say, hey, thanks for the retweet. I appreciate it. I use an automated tool just because I have a lot of followers, but I do try to go through and see who has started following me. If there's somebody I really want to talk to, I do. I go back and follow them, and then I follow up with another follow-up message saying, hey, I'd love to chat with you just about whatever. So I wouldn't say that to Jacob, I'm going to talk to you about graphics design jobs. I would say, hey, I'm a blogger too. I'd love to chat with you and see where's your site. Are you on? Do you have your own blog site? Or are you blogging on Medium? So on and so forth. And if we start having that conversation, then I talk to him about jobs. Simple search string. So let's click on this guy. We don't follow eggs, okay? Eggs means there's nothing here. eGreco3 has 8 followers, following 46 people, hasn't even tweeted yet, and there's no photo, there's nothing. I mean, my photo is a picture of the teddy bear Ted from the movies. It just was a joke, and it's now people are just know me for that particular photo. To have fun with it. You don't have to put on your own personal photo. A lot of people put up some pretty cool stuff, but have something up there that shows me that you're a real human being and there's somebody that I may want to chat with. Now this Twitter profile really rocks. This is a recruiting one. This is my buddy, Mike Choidian. This is his from a long time ago. Probably should update this because he's got a heck of a lot more than 865 followers now. But look at it. He goes like, the social media recruiting. He's a DJ. He has a sneakerhead. He's the rad recruiter. He's got his website up there for Systems Alliance, the company he was working for at the time, so that people can go into there and check out his job postings if they want. He goes, recruiting talent in the 21st century, best candidates are the ones who aren't looking. Are you a good fit for this job? This lineup intro, though, he's always talking, he's engaging, and he's reaching out to people on a daily basis. Don't end up like these folks. Unemployable due to stupid personal stuff I put on my Facebook page. Me too. For me, it was an embarrassing video, YouTube video. I don't know how many people are NFL fans on this call right now, but did everybody hear about the absolute mess that it was? They had would have been probably one of the top 3 picks in the NFL. A video leaked the day of the draft of one of this individual smoking marijuana online. And it was a video that was leaked. And all of a sudden he went from one of the top 3 prospects, and I think he did get chosen in the top 30, but like at 27 or 28. That cost him a ton of money. A ton of money. Steve Levy once said it best. He was actually on TV. I don't know if you know Steve, but he's up in New York. He's an amazing sourcing recruiter. He's one of the best sourcers probably in the business. They got him actually on TV, and they asked him about it from a recruiting standpoint. What did he think? And his line that I love this line: digital media and social media will follow you to the grave. It cannot be undone. You can take down a post in Facebook, but trust me, folks, once you get it screenshotted, it's a screenshot that can go around the world. Twitter's the same way. Everything that you write, you can delete a tweet, but there is indexing websites that'll actually have that tweet index. If somebody really wants to find it, it's almost impossible to erase it. And once it gets out into the universe and people are retweeting it or resending the video, it can be shared, millions upon millions of times in a short span of like 20 minutes. So be cognizant of what you're doing, what you're saying, and what you're writing. Be professional. It's social media. Okay, so this is one of my favorite slides. Personal branding on social media is nothing without engagement. Okay, so first of all, you want to listen. You want the audience, the influencer analysis issues. That's a theme trending. You want to respond. In other words, you heard somebody say something or you read something, and so you want to respond to it. Be responsive. Share, okay? Share a lot, but not too much either. I always tell people, don't just throw up on the internet, but share. And when you share things that are going to be shaping your thought process. Like I said, for example, I love to send out articles, especially through Twitter, but I also like to just, once again, just send out something funny. I usually do it around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon when people are getting off work and just starting to check their social media. And it's crazy. It's just fun, and you get well known for it. And you'll get more followers that way. And by getting more followers, you have a better extensive lead. So when you get retweeted, it's retweeting to their followers. Now, I have some followers that have literally 1 million people follow them. So when they retweet, 1 million people get to read what I wrote. And it can take off like wildfire. It's like the old VO shampoo commercial. You tell 2 people and they tell 2 people and they tell 2 people. It's basically the same thing. So I can't talk about social media and social engagement without having you be able to engage with me. So this is me. This is my LinkedIn page. This is my Twitter page. My handle is Dare Diver. The joke is it's Derek, and I used to be a scuba diving instructor, and that's just been kind of like a handle of mine since I don't know when. So I'm just kind of well known under that name. A lot of times I'll tell people, if you don't want to you can have more than one Twitter account. So you can have a personal Twitter account, and then you can also have a recruiting account. And set that up something so that it's if your name is Sam, it's Recruiter Sam 65 or something like that, if there's another Recruiter Sam out there. So people know that you're actually a recruiter, and then put it in like I showed you before, and that's one slide for the Twitter. Put in that you're recruiting and what you may be recruiting for in your Twitter handle, so that people, when they go to look at you and what you do, and if they're interested in following you, bam, that's the reason why. Facebook, this is my Facebook page. I've gotten more open over the years. It used to be a very closed page for me. It was just for me and my personal friends and some family and things like that. But I've also learned that communicating with other recruiters is a really good thing. I mean, let's look what we're doing here. I'm being social with you, and you're hopefully picking up a couple things about social media from me. The only thing I say about Facebook is, once again, you're going to run into some interesting characters, but there's some really good groups. But once again, be professional. Kind of be careful what you post, because when you do post it, most of your posts, if you haven't set it to a private setting, it's going to be public, which means other people can go out on Facebook and see what you're saying, and then go to your page and see what you're posting. And sometimes people just get weird about it. I have a Pinterest account. I don't use it very much. I just post my blogs up there. I don't really get it personally, but a lot of people do, so I like to put it up here. Just got into Instagram probably about a year ago. I mostly post food because I'm a foodie, but it's more fun and directive. I don't know anybody who's really recruiting out of Instagram, but you never know. I mean, it's just much into the social media tool to go for. The last one is recruitingdaily.com. It's a website that I've been writing for probably 2 years now. I do blog about recruiting. I'm pretty serious about it. My articles are long, so I apologize in advance, but it's a good lunchtime read if you ever feel like it. Just go to Recruiting Daily up on the search, put in my name, Derek Zeller, and it'll bring up all the articles that I've written or have been mentioned in, which apparently is quite a few at this point. So we've got a couple of minutes. Do we have questions? And I'm going to go up here and I'm unmute.
Derek?
Yeah.
About if Viet's still here with us, we didn't lose him. He had a question about texting, I think, via the web.
Okay.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here. Just a quick question about texting.
Okay.
Is there any tools? Is there any, I guess, program that I can utilize to text instead of like using my own mobile phone?
Yeah, there actually is. It's a good question. It's probably something I should add to this deck, which I haven't thought of because I have only just started playing with it. The person to, okay, so go to recruitingtools.com. It's under the daily site.
Mm-hmm.
And under recruiting tools, Jackie Clayton, I believe she has the software. There's like 2 or 3 companies that do it. One of them is free. And you just, it's like writing an email. You just write a direct message and you just send it to the phone and it'll come through just as though it's an IM. I just, like I said, I literally just started using it. I tested it out I can't remember the name of it, like 3 weeks ago. I haven't had a chance to use it here yet because this is really technically my 3rd week at the company. So, but if you want, reach out to me via social media through LinkedIn. Link in with me if we're not already, and then I'll obviously add you, and then I'll message you the software that I have.
All right, thank you.
You got it.
Derek, I think that David Solomon had a question about Facebook accounts, personal versus recruiting. David, are you there?
Yeah. Hold on for just a sec. Can we, whoever's using the keyboard, can we stop for a second or mute yourself? Please. Would I recommend a personal Facebook and recruiting Facebook or just one Facebook? Okay, so there's two schools of thought here. Geico, for example, all of the recruiters have a recruiting Facebook page. It is, I personally say yes. Let me just point that out. I think you should have a personal Facebook page. It is your page. A lot of people do use it for mass communication with friends and posting cat pics and funny videos and things like that. And that's not really going to inspire confidence from a candidate. But having a second Facebook page, and make sure that you say that it is a recruiting page. You're a recruiter. You have to, you can tell candidates that are coming on, they can go online to your Facebook page. And, as long as you update it and you're putting in the jobs that you're trying to fill, and you're putting in articles and fun stuff, and just let them. This is my. I won't say yes to my personal account, but I will say yes to my recruiting Facebook page. But yes. I got about 4 minutes. Anybody else got any questions?
Anybody else have a question for Derek? Need to put my auctioneer hat on. Going once.
I have no problems in giving time back.
Well, we lost a little bit of time there with the, I guess the meeting ended for everybody, and then we all were able to log back in.
Yeah, once again, I really am sorry about that. I don't know. I had no idea that was going on. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Derek?